Hello, Yu-Gi-Oh players, and welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! Business Casual. I am your host, the RJB0. So recently, in fact, I believe yesterday, Konami announced the release of Battle Pack 3, which will include a brand shining new rule whereby all monsters are all types. Like, what? My initial reaction to this was, this is the stupidest thing I have ever heard. But I think that the reason why I had that gut reaction is because it feels to me like Konami is scraping the bottom of the barrel for possibilities of ways to change the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, I'm not going to bash this mechanic initially because I don't know what the set looks like, I don't know what the gameplay will look like with this, and one of the things about sealed and draft play is the purpose of its existence is to scramble our theory and force us to look at the game in a different way. So if we come up with a bold new rule that completely changes the way that we play the game, I am okay with that unless it actually turns out to be a total disaster. And once again, we can start determining that once we actually have a list for what is going into the packs. They're also coming out with some new cards, which I'm kind of excited about because I like seeing new cards, and I'm interested to see what they do with this particular mechanic. I'm not necessarily in favor of things like YCSs being determined by draft, mostly because I don't think that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has quite matured its draft play entirely. I don't think our system is necessarily that well thought through for draft, so I don't like the fact that as an event as prestigious and important as a YCS should be determined by draft play yet. But overall, this particular mechanic, I'm not going to bash quite yet. But the reason why I wanted to talk about it specifically is because, once again, it seems to me like Konami acts like they're scraping the bottom of the barrel for possibilities in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is absolutely and totally not true. There are so many ways that we could change the game to make it more interesting, to make it more fun to play, and add new things. And I think Konami is just trying way too hard. They're overthinking this like crazy. While there are a ton of ways that they could change up the game to make it more interesting, to invite in more players, to cater to the current player base. For instance, they could actually create an official set of tag team rules and have real tag team tournaments, not these like side events at YCS things that have about the same amount of prestige as the Pegasus Challenge. I'm talking like real tournaments, like YCS level, even like regional level tournaments for tag team play. That would be awesome. That would be an easy way for Konami to change up the game state to keep it more interesting. There are also a ton of mechanics for possible archetypes, for possible decks, and possible single cards that Konami has not really explored, and they go to something like pendulum summoning, which seems like it's scraping the bottom of the barrel, because in order to freshen up the game, they are completely changing the operation of a turn, which, while once again, I'm not bashing it yet because I haven't seen the mechanic in action in real tournament play in the TCG at its fullest, seems like something you do when you are just totally devoid of ideas. So while I think this mechanic for Battle Pack 3 could be fairly cool, I'm interested to see how it changes up the theory. I really want to see how the set itself hammers out. I think that Konami is just trying really hard to just totally overthink the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! So that's my opinion on the new Battle Pack 3. I cannot wait to see the set list. I might do a little bit of a recap once we see the set list. Meanwhile, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't, let me know why in the comment section below. And of course, subscribe for more decks discussion, analysis, and general Yu-Gi-Oh! Shenanigans. Meanwhile, thank you guys for watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Business Casual. I am your host, the RJB0, and I got a jet. See you guys.